Have you ever had one of those mornings where everything feels off? Things aren't working, your mood is flat, and it just doesn't feel right. You just want to cancel everything. That was me this morning. Welcome back to Loving Life. Thank you so much for joining me again. Every Thursday at the moment, I am holding my manifestation program, and this morning just didn't start well at all. That's not true. It started well. I got up nice and early and did my planning, and a couple of hours into my morning, there was a dog-related disagreement, and it put me in such a foul mood. And I was like, oh my God, there's no way I'm going to be able to deliver this session in the way that I want to. It just wasn't going to plan. I felt really out of flow, and I was just worried that I didn't have the right energy. And for a moment, I seriously considered rearranging, because I don't want to show up half-heartedly. I always want my energy to feel good, and I want to feel aligned, because that is what I am teaching people to do. But something said to me, just show up anyway and see what happens. So that's what I did. I went ahead, I got my head straight and delivered the best session. It was such a good feeling afterwards. Like, I felt absolutely buzzing after. And it just reminded me that sometimes we think we need to wait until we're ready, but actually that feeling of being ready doesn't always come before the thing. Sometimes it comes because we do the thing. So one thing I've learned is that it's not about pushing yourself through every time you feel off. It's about learning to listen. So before I do anything, I do a little energy check with myself, and I ask, am I feeling low because I'm genuinely tired, burnt out, needing rest? Or am I feeling off because I'm doubting myself, scared of not being good enough? Or am I making an excuse? So the difference between those two things, if you think about it, is it something in my body or is it something in my mind? So there is a big difference between your body needing to rest and avoiding growth, avoiding putting yourself out there. When it's time to rest, you can feel it in your body. You feel heavy. You feel like your energy feels flat, but there's still a sense of calm underneath. But when it's resistance or fear, it feels more like noise, thoughts, self-doubt, what ifs, guilt, or pressure that says you should be better than this, you should do this. And when you can tell the difference between your body, what your body's telling you, and what your mind is telling you, that decision gets a lot easier. And that's why it only took me a moment to talk myself into doing the session today. Like, I used to think I had to be in the perfect energy for everything, for anything that I did. Whether that's record a podcast, run a session, post on social media. But what I've realised is that often your energy meets you there whilst you're doing it. And as soon as I started talking to my group today, I felt the shift. I felt like that fog had lifted, like straight away. That fog, that fuzziness had lifted, that doubt had lifted. Because I think that's what I was feeling, like doubt. Am I gonna deliver the session they deserve? That's doubt. That's my mind talking. So that's when I knew not to listen to it. That feeling of connection when I spoke to the group, when I joined the group, that is my purpose. That is my driving factor all the time. And it completely realigned me. And sometimes we wait for alignment before we take action, but actually taking action sometimes creates the alignment. So the more you practice this, the more you begin to trust yourself, to know when to listen and when to lead. You don't need to second guess every dip in energy. Sometimes your intuition is saying, slow down, rest, And sometimes it's saying, you've got this. This wobble is just fear. And the only way to learn the difference is through experience, is through sometimes pushing yourself through those moments when you show up, even if you don't feel like it, even if you are unsure, and look back and realise that was my fear talking, not my intuition. Every time you do that, every time you notice that, you build more trust in listening to yourself. So whether that's showing up for a client, showing up at work, showing up for family, or maybe even friends, they don't need your energy to be perfect all the time. They just need your presence. And I think the amazing thing is that by showing up anyway, you send a message to your subconscious that says it's safe for me to take action even when I don't feel 100%. It's safe to be imperfect. It's safe to trust myself, because that is how confidence grows. That is how we shift our energy, by not waiting to feel ready, but by deciding to show up anyway. So maybe, whether that's today, sometime this week, next week, when you find yourself next in that space, debating whether to do the thing or not, just take a breath, check in and ask yourself, do I need rest right now, or am I resisting? And either answer is okay, but just know that sometimes the magic happens because you showed up, even when you didn't feel ready. And it really was an amazing session today. Looking back, possibly part of the resistance for me was because I went a little bit rogue today. The session today was about telling more of my manifestation journey. It was about giving my exact process. So I didn't need to plan as much. I had a few notes, but I thought this is going to go so much better if I'm like telling authentic, relatable stories from my heart. So I didn't have that much written down. And maybe that was part of the resistance. But it turns out that I can totally trust myself to go rogue, to go without knowing exactly what I'm going to say. If this episode has helped you today, or if you can think of somebody who this topic might help, I would love you to share it. Have an amazing week and keep loving life. Bye.